us one thing, that collaboration is the most important factor now to move forward. Here, I do not work. Here, we as a team, whatever we can do it collaboratively, then that is the main mantra of success. So, and the resources that you need, and a learning model which is already there, but we are just going to put a little bit of technology into that learning model, and we call it as a 5E learning model of the hybrid learning classroom with the various tools, and which Kenji probably will. There is a social interaction. Any institution, whether it is a working institution or whether it is a learning institution, any institution is just not only to, the learning, and in school, in university, it is also a place of social interaction, and that is very, very important for us to look into it. And the change of learning spaces in institutions, when the students are coming from in face to face, they go to class, they go to the canteen, they go to the cafeterias, they go here, they go there. So there is several components which really comprise a complete learning institution, has a huge big impact in the students' well-being. Whereas in the learning online experience, these are the part which is lacking. But in the online experience, there is also couple of pros are there. The pros are like that high degree of the student agency, because the students are taking a responsibility of their own learning, and they're not easily distracted. They're not easily distracted because you are focusing, you know that this is the thing you have to do. You try to develop your own time management skill, self-management skill, and which is a key component at this moment. Then there is also flexibility. Maybe I don't need to finish everything within 1 hour. I can go according to my own pace, and then I understand the concept, and then I reply and I apply my knowledge into that. So that flexibility is the uniqueness of this online learning. But one of the most common challenge in the online experience, everybody is socially so disconnected. And because of the socially disconnection, what is happening, that it has a huge big impact of the learners and everyone's well-being, because they are sleeping in the same room, getting up, waking up, working in the same room, and there is no place of change, and that has a huge big impact. So now, if you try to blend both online learning experience and the in-class learning experience, put it together based on the context of the institution, then only we'll be successful to implement that blended learning model. There are several different kinds of the model you can find out, everywhere. If you can look through, research, you will find several different kinds of the model. But honestly, no model work best for any institution unless we contextualize the model. So based on the need, based on the learner's need, based on the capacity and the skill set of the teachers, based on the institution. So everything, when we look at it together and contextualize the learning model, then only the hybrid learning model will be successful. So any component, whether it is a learning, whether it is a technology tool, and whether it is the learning methodology, whether any new concept, if you are going to bring our teaching and learning, and I like this model, and this model is quite common, every one of you might be knowing about it. That is called the summer model, and it goes so well. If you try to understand that, it can be customized every way. When I bring new learning concept, I use that summer model. When I try to implement any new tool, I use the summer learning model. If I implement a new books the teacher has recommended, these are the set of books I really need, I use this summer model. This summer model is really fantastic in a way, because the first one, the substitution and augmentation, it gives you the enhancement phase, and then when you go to the modification and the redefinition, then it really transforms what we do. So when you are trying to bring any kind of the new concept, I strongly recommend that use this summer model, because I get a lot of benefit out of that. So as for example, if you are trying to bring the new learning tool, when we are bringing the Zoom and the Google Meet and the Google Classroom, in 15th of March, when the school completely had gone for online, and we started applying we started working on the Google Classrooms, and we opened up the Google Classroom and Zoom and everything in 2 days time on the next Monday. And before that, we started working we predicted the situation that this might come even in Ghana, even though Ghana was also very confident about that. No, we bet Ebola, we are not going to have any kind of the situation. COVID is not going to enter, but we predicted that thing that it might come. It definitely will come. Nobody can stop. So before that, we started working on it, and I use this model, that the substitution model, whenever we have chosen any tool, we look at it this way, that how our learning management tool and mode of delivery of the lesson, both in synchronous face-to-face or online face-to-face, and the asynchronous mode, when you are giving the students to do their work according to their own pace, can connect the teacher and learner day-to-day basis without having any kind of the functional change. So that's why we brought the Zoom. And the Zoom actually replaced that kind of the feeling, and we constantly meeting all the teachers, meeting the students every single day through Zoom. So we moved the physical classroom into the virtual classroom in 48 hours, because we knew that this is the one which we are going to adopt. Then we go to the augmentation phase. In the augmentation phase, we try to look at it, how this tool can act as a direct substitution of the physical classroom and connect the students to learn actively in daily with the functional improvement. Is there any kind of the improvement? And we saw that thing, that many students really did a fantastic, they really did show a fantastic, and many teachers as well, show a fantastic engagement in this tool, whereas a couple of teachers really struggle and a couple of students really struggle, and we dealt with that. I know that Henry is going to talk about it more detail about that phase, because he was one of them, really worked hand in hand with in this personalized plan. Then after that, we modified. We went to the modification phase. When we see that enhancement phase, that we are really comfortable with the tool, then we move to the next stage, is the modification stage. What kind of the blended learning model will reduce the complexity? Because anything you do, that has to be simplified. Because it has to be, long sentences need to be broken down into pieces and make it absolutely palatable for the student and as well as for the teachers, because any complex thing cannot be acceptable by anybody. It has to have the user-friendly approach. So we try to modify that, how we can really do it. We did several different policies. We made several different kind of constantly we are learning. Now also constantly we are learning about what really is best fit for our student, how we can really simplify this process. So it's a constant learning. Everybody learns that way. So what kind of the blended learning model will reduce the complexity of the concurrent learning for the school and community of the learner? Because anything you bring, that has to be used by the teacher comfortably. That is the most important thing, because if the teachers are not really buying that, then it's not going to happen. So we need to really focus on the facilitator and the teachers who are really using the tool, how competent they are, whether they have all kind of the skill to use it in the classroom. Same goes with the student, how students are accepting that. So that modification we made it, and then after that we redefine. Redefinition is the key, because based on everything, then we redefine the blended learning model and how each tech tools and the learning strategies allow the creation of the new task and assignment that motivates the community. Teachers need to be motivated. If I am not motivated, how am I going to motivate other people? So any changes we are bringing, we need to really bring everybody's voice. The collaboration is very, 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 very important. So if we use this summer model, it can also you can easily really analyze that what is best fit for your institution. And then after that, we have created this kind of the model in our school model. This is based on our school model. So it varies from the institution to institution. So you need to really look into that most important thing, that what is your main component? What is the center of the learning model in your institution? That center of the learning model has to be over here. In our school, it is a personalized approach. Our model is that personalized approach model. No matter who is the best achiever, highest achiever, and those who are struggling, we give the personalized attention to everybody. Now, when we give the personalized attention and any model, when you are going to try to really put in place, then you need to focus on these two important things. One is the equity. The community of learner and the teacher have the access to the net and the device. We made it very, very clear. If the teachers are not having the required tools to teach, then the technology is going to fail. So we need to really make sure that teachers are all having the device. When they are on campus, when they are off campus, make sure that they have the accessibility to the net. That is the equity. And this equity is making more division. I know that you will be having so much of challenges, but there is always way. The problem means that there will be a solution. If there is no solution, there is no problem. So definitely there will be a problem. Then you need to figure it out that how we can really do. And it will not come in just like that. It might take years. It might take some days. But slowly, step by step, with an action plan, you need to make sure that it prevails. Means equity is the most important thing. At the same time, you are changing from one component to another component, one way to another way. So one model to another model, one approach to another approach. The well-being of the staff and well-being of the student is very important. Means how they are really accepting the change. That is very important. Then after that, definitely it comes to the collaborative inquiry, because you have to really do a complete market survey. You need to really have a lot of inquiry. And I always prefer the inquiry approach should be very appreciative. That appreciative inquiry approach, you will get a lot of information. Means what we have to appreciate what the teacher is doing, appreciate what students are doing, and then from that, then you try to put your problem over there and try to find out that what exactly you want to get it from the people. So that through that appreciative collaborative inquiry, you will get you will collect kind of data. Based on that data, then you need to develop your customized model of hybrid learning. But in the center, where whatever we are going to do it, we need to really make sure that what are the different conditions, because the condition of the institution is very important. We need to look at the classroom condition, we need to look at the school condition, and we also need to look at the system condition. So if we really look into it, that when we are implementing some new model, that what kind of the learners we are really looking at it, what kind of the focus and what kind of the protocol, how we can really address if they are facing some kind of the challenges, how do you deal with them? How do you address their issues? That has to be very clearly stated, and action plan needs to be made. Then second important thing it comes, that is the system condition. What kind of the training, what kind of the support, what kind of the workload, what kind of the policies we are putting in place, that needs to be looked at. Not everything would be coming in one day, but at least you need to really look at it. And then we need to look at the school condition. Hybrid learning model means you are doing the face-to-face as well as online. So you need to have a proper learning management system. You need to have a proper kind of the tools. You need to have the internet. You need to also have the device, which is available for the student, which is available for the teachers. So this is the kind of the support, kind of the way we have really developed our hybrid learning model. So when we are doing that hybrid learning model, we need to really look into developing a model. We need to really look into the challenges we are going to face. Basically, there are 3 different kind of the challenges we will be facing, and which I'm really addressing one after another. One most important challenge is the technological challenges. Okay, so always we try to look into everything, because we are so enthusiastic. Moving into the new thing means it's a lot of enthusiasm will come from everybody, and we try to do everything at one go. So we need to really look into that, ensuring that the teachers and the students are able to use the learning tools effectively. Always we try to rush. Always we try to rush and address all the possible, every challenges together. We don't need to rush that one. That do not use all the tech tools at a time. Provide the support and training for each tech tools and make sure that facilitators have all the answers If they're facing some kind of the challenges, they know the basic troubleshooting, the skills. So it's very, very important for us whenever the technological challenges, otherwise in front of the students, that if the teacher is saying that, oh, I don't know how to deal with this matter, then you will lose the confidence, the connection will be cut. So it's very important that we look into that part. And the urge of using tools and technology, simply it is available, and it happens. The moment we started integrating the technology, it happens to all of us. It's a normal human tendency. Then you will tend to do a lot of different kind of the research and try to see, oh, this tool is very good. Oh, that tool is very good. I know that how much we are overwhelmed with the various different kind of the tool, which are coming from all different organizations, the software company to combat the technology. Every single day, hundreds of mails were coming that use my this thing, this is free, use my this thing, this is free. You need to be very careful about that, very, very careful about that, because nothing comes just like that. It requires, you need to put down everything, and then slowly you need to look into with your team that which tool really is best fit for your own requirement. So the set up a orientation schedule for the student and the parent, and use the different kind of the tools, and judge that what is actually, best fit for it. The temptation, resist the temptation to redesign all your, another component is that, and at overnight we are trying to say that let's do everything at one go. Let's this content start online in next week. Then let's put everything online. Please, you need to really work on that part. Resist the temptation to redesign all your content to the latest learning technology. It is going to be a disaster unless we really think that through very carefully. Start with a smaller initiative. And then once the technology works, build on that success and then incorporate into the lesson learned. So this is very important. Always try to go for the free version. Try with a smaller class. Try with the smaller group of people. Try with the smaller group of teachers. How do they feel? Collect the data. And then, that collaborative way, if you try to work on that, then you are going to implement the changes and integrate that particular tool and technology in the classroom. This is the second challenges, that is the organizational challenges. And these challenges is very, 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 very important for us to look at it, because the enthusiasm and the complexity of the process of implementation is causing this kind of the challenges. There are many unaddressed issues during the implementation phase. Many. Because team might not be knowing that, they might be knowing that, okay, this tool is going to come. But often we forget about that why we are bringing this tool. What are the reasons for that? And the managers usually do not really realize the effort that when we are moving the self-directed program, when we are moving from the face-to-face to the self-directed program, because whole online part of it is a self-directed program. So when you are moving to the self-directed program, we often, do not realize that how we can make this program successful, and we do not really create a kind of the confidence to support confidence among the teachers and the learners how to make this process successful. So many occasions it happens that when we do not really focus on that, why we are doing it, what we are doing it, and how we are doing it, then this challenge will remain all the time. And overcoming the idea that blended learning is not effective as a traditional classroom training, and often it happens that when it fails, when we do not address why we are doing it, what we are doing it, and how we are doing it, then what will happen? That things will fail, and we will be saying that no, that previous methodology and the previous approach was much better than this one. But it's not like that. Change is always there. Change is always will be there. And when we are bringing any new kind of the technology and any new kind, you apply something new, immediately we need to also look into the role of the facilitator. Because at this moment, we as a teachers are looking into three different things. When any teacher is teaching blended learning in the classroom and the hybrid learning in the classroom, honestly, this teacher job is increased by triple, because they need to look into the engagement of the students who are on site. They need to make sure that their lecture and everything is really available, easily available for the students all the time in any platform what they're using. So this is the second task. And they also need to make sure that how the assessment and everything and how they can engage the students that stipulated time who are online. So it's a triple the work that people are really doing. So if we are doing that mistake, we constantly learning that no, the facilitated job in the face-to-face, the way it was, it has multiplied into 3 now at this moment. So that redefinition of the role of the facilitator is very important, not only in terms of the hour of teaching and learning, but also the planning, preparation, pedagogical approach, and everything. It has also need to be looked, and how we deal with the students before and how we are dealing with the students now, that also has to be really changed. The redefinition is very important. So you need to really prepare the facilitator by immersing them in a blended learning program so they fully understand the participants' experience. This is very, very important. And then it comes as well, the most important part of this program is the instructional and the instructional design challenges. Looking at how to teach as well as what to teach is so important, because it happens all the time that we say, that all the time we really look into one thing. It's not only that blended learning, we also constantly looking at it that the delivering the content when you are doing in the face-to-face, we hardly really look into the face of the student's voice. We really do not really engage every one of them in the classroom. It's not possible always, but there is also a way. The technology is giving that kind of the opportunity to engage every kind of the learner according to their own face. So we need to really make sure that we customize the content, that what is the best. We need to really think very carefully. We need to go through the whole design process of the content, and determine how that big component, big chunk of the content which you are going to deliver, how we can cut into pieces. Because that if you stand in front of the classroom for 1 hour giving the lecture, it's going to go away because it's not possible that everybody's attention will be there. And just think about the online. In the online, when you are doing the blended learning program, we also need to look into that part very carefully. How we can really make sure that whole 1 hour, if I am giving the lecture, how I can break into pieces so that we shift the engagement from one component to another component and engage the people together. So go through the thoughtful design process and determine what pieces may require face-to-face time and what pieces require the collaboration and what pieces should go to the online part of it. So during the face-to-face, this is the thing I'm going to do it. During online, when the students are going to online, they are going to do this part so that we do not really lose the time, And this is very, very important, and that requires a lot of time. And so that also has to be added in the facilitators' time, the work schedule and their job description. Matching the best delivery medium to the performance objective. So that in online, one of the key components that learning objective has to be extremely clear, and all the assessment should be based on the learning objective. If we are able to start the backward planning, means if we can do that learning objective, based on the learning objective, develop the design the component, and then assessing the students based on the learning objective, then it becomes much more easier. So the design must focus first on the learning objective, followed by selecting technology, and then you do the assessment. So there is a fantastic taxonomy, Bloom taxonomy, Bloom digital taxonomy you can really use, and if you can click into that, and I also put it into the resource section, you can really look into that part, that how you can really design the learning when you are teaching the content in hybrid learning. And then make sure that learning is happening online, is very interactive, very, very interactive. Engage the students using the different tool, and which Henry is going to show you in few minutes time, that in virtual classroom, the interaction is very, very important. Your interaction should be coming as a lecture for 20 minutes to 30 minutes lecture, followed by question and answer, and then the polling, then the Jamboard. There are several tools Henry is going to show you, and which you can really use it in the classroom. And then make sure that it's often the teachers are giving a more importance on in the hybrid learning. This is one of the challenge which you are facing. The teachers are giving more importance to the face-to-face. They are not giving more importance to the online. It's not going to happen. You need to give equal importance to the online as well as face-to-face. Otherwise, your face-to-face will be really wasted. Face-to-face time will be completely wasted to deal with the component which you have given for the online for the students to complete. And this is something we need to really work on it, ensuring that the participants' commitment is must, because the participants need to take the responsibility of their own learning and follow through the non-live element. The following of the facilitator must follow. The immediate feedback is so important now. I was just doing a kind of the session with my team about the feedback, because how the feedback become an important tools for teaching and learning now in these days. And there is a fantastic model by one of the educationists called John Hattie, who has done, maybe you might be knowing about it, that feedback, and the feedback. And the whole concept of hybrid learning now, after this pandemic, is not only that marking the paper at the end of the examinations and my job is finished. It's not going to work that way now. The feedback is very important. The moment you give the spot on feedback, just immediate feedback, then what will happen? The participants will be alerted on that. So they will be trying to complete everything on time. The smart, smaller, and design more live component. When you do include the self-paced component, then include the assessment, and make sure that the students know about the assessment. So any component, when you are going to give an assessment, you are going to give, make it very clear. Self-explanatory notes means everything should be so clear to the students that they really read it and understand this is exactly is expected from me. So they will not move from one live session to and make it, when you are making the live session, then put a kind of the questionnaire, so that when they finish the one live session, they need to complete those questions, and then they go to the next live session. They just cannot just jump from one to another and jumbled up with everything. So your design process should be so particular that you finish one component, give them an option to, the way we do the Google questions, that questionnaire, that when you compose the finish one section, then only you can go to the another section. That kind of the model, that kind of the structure, you need to design process, you need to bring it so that they don't jump, and make sure that all the element in the learning, in the component, in the units are blended together. And communication is the key for that. So your communication should be so detailed and so direct that everybody understand your template content, your dates for each communication. So make a template for the content and the dates of communication. So this is the time, this is the work I have given, this is the time I'm expecting from you to give me the assessment. So, and everything, if you can keep it in a copy, keep it in a document, then it would be so important. So you can really use quite a lot of, and try to make sure the course components are available anywhere. So they can use the phone, they can use the tab, they can use anything. So if you can put everything, all the component in the cloud, then they don't need to have any kind of the excuse that, oh yeah, I have left my device there, I have done. So internet is everywhere now. Even through the phone, you can really bring so much of, just changes. So make sure that your component is easily available now, even in the cloud, and which can be accessible using the mobile phone and all the device. So I strongly recommend, in our school, we are using the G Suite because it's free. And we also use a OneDrive and Dropbox. So there are several cloud storage are there, which you can really use in your, the content. So now I come to that, the last bit of of my presentation, that is the resources. So I put a kind of the virtual learning classroom routine, and when we do that virtual learning classroom routine, and it is also available in the Google Docs in that. So these are the setting up your virtual classroom when you do the Kathleen Tucker, and she is really pioneer of this program for a long time. And we took a training on with her, and we came out with that kind of the checklist. Make sure that you have developed a kind of the class calendar, you have a welcome message, you have an announcement, and your course components are organized by unit in this way. So this guideline will really give you a kind of understanding that how you can really set up your virtual classroom. And then this is my favorite learning model. This is called the 5E organizational educational model, which Henry is going to go more detail with you, that whenever you are designing any component or any lesson, these are the 5. We do it knowingly and unknowingly. We need to make sure the students are engaged and the learners are engaged, and we also as a facilitator are engaged what we are delivering. Then we need to also provide an opportunity for the students to explore. We need to make sure that we are able to explain, and students are also able to explain what they have learned. Students can also need to elaborate, and we can also, when the situation comes in explanation, we can also elaborate their ideas, provide more opportunity for them to elaborate that idea. And then definitely you need to evaluate what they have learned, and what we are teaching, we need to also develop that one. So any workshop I go, and any session I do, any training I do with my team, I always keep it in my mind, this 5 component, and this is called the 5E model. And every model, what does it look like? And every model, there are different tools and which you can really use. And then I go to the Bloom Digital Taxonomy, means designing your assessment and how that assessment can be linked with your learning component. Then this taxonomy would be really very helpful for you to develop. So this is the 3 small resources I would like you to refer. And here I want to finish, and then I would like to hand over this session to Mr. Henry. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I think our partner, you said
Resilient women are rewarded by inscribing their names on temples, but the wise counsel and benevolence of a great woman is carved in the hearts of people. Your willingness and readiness to share your rich experience with us will forever be remembered. We honor you for your support, impact, inspirational message, and great concern towards the progress of the Department of Business and Social Sciences Education. Ayeko.
So much. I am really overwhelmed now. Very happy to do that. I don't know how much I have really made any changes and how much I could really contribute, whether you did really like, because I wasn't there to know your views and all.
Please let her know you liked it, please. And clap for you. Thank you so much, our partner.